An innocent man would spend 36 years behind bars unless Ana Ribeiro could prove her mother lied under oath. And Ana had 48 hours, 1 sealed envelope, and 0 permission to destroy the only memory she cherished. The courtroom gallery smelled like lemon cleaner and old paper. Beside her on the oak bench, a man in a charcoal suit slid a Polaroid across the lacquered wood. Her mother, younger, in scrubs, laughing outside Cedars-Sinai. Ana's pulse kicked. She hadn't seen that photo in 20 years. "Your mother saved my life," the man said, voice low. "And she left you the key to Case 14. The Los Angeles Superior Court, Department 42, was all blonde wood and fluorescent hum, a warren of motions and continuances where justice moved at the speed of filing cabinets. Ana Ribeiro, investigative journalist for the LA Observer, sat in the back row during a routine pretrial hearing, notebook open, pen capped. She covered criminal justice reform, not personal ghosts. Her mother had died 8 years ago. Ana had filed her grief under closed matters. The man beside her, Damian Cross, she recognized him now from philanthropy galas and Forbes covers, didn't belong in Department 42 either. Billionaires sent lawyers. They didn't sit on public benches smelling like bergamot and expensive wool. Ana's objective was simple: attend the hearing, file her story by 6 p.m., go home, but the Polaroid in her hand made her forget the judge's voice entirely. "You're Ana Ribeiro," Damian said, not a question. "Your mother was Sofia Ribeiro, ER nurse, Cedars-Sinai, 2009 to 2017. She treated me after a car accident in July 2011. I was unconscious for 6 hours. When I woke, she told me something I'd never forget." He paused. The bailiff called a recess. People shuffled out. Ana stayed seated, heart hammering. She said, "Sometimes the truth lives in the smallest places, a timestamp, a voicemail, a shift log. And sometimes the only way to honor the innocent is to admit you were wrong." Ana's throat tightened. That sounded like her mother. But why would a billionaire philanthropist remember one nurse's bedside philosophy? Damian pulled a manila envelope from his briefcase, stamped, notarized, her mother's signature on the seal. "Sophia left this with my foundation's legal team in 2016 with instructions. If Case 14 ever reaches appeal, give this to my daughter. She'll know what to do." Ana's hand trembled as she took it. The judge returned. The hearing resumed. But Ana couldn't hear a word. Her mother had been dead for 8 years. Case 14, whatever it was, had just landed in her lap like a grenade with the pin half pulled. They met at a corner cafe 3 blocks from the courthouse, Rosewood and Brew, where the espresso was too hot and the Wi-Fi spotty. Damian ordered black coffee. Ana ordered nothing. He spread the rules on the table between them like a contract. "Your mother witnessed something in 2011 that led to a wrongful conviction," he said. "I don't know the details. I don't know the case number until you open that envelope. But I know this. If you pursue it, you'll face scrutiny. Journalists digging into cold cases don't make friends. You'll need documentation, verifiable evidence, and you'll need to protect your credibility." Ana nodded slowly. "So, what's the arrangement?" "I fund the investigation. Legal fees, forensic analysis, whatever you need. You maintain editorial independence. You publish the truth, whatever it is. But we follow Partner Presence Policy PR 12.3. No press until the story's filed. No photos. No social media trail. Your investigation, my resources, mutual consent, mutual privacy. If at any point you want out, you say the word full stop, and we walk away. No questions." Ana studied him. His hands were steady on the coffee cup. No wedding ring, no tell. "Why do you care?" she asked. "Your mother saved my life," he said. "And I believe her when she said an innocent man is in prison. That's enough." Ana opened the envelope. Inside, a single handwritten note on hospital stationery, dated March 2016. "Ana, Case 14, LA County 2011. Testimony mine. Error, unintentional. Evidence, voicemail timestamp, disposable camera EXIF, shift log. I was wrong. Fix it. Mom." Ana's vision blurred. Her mother had carried this for 5 years before she died. "Okay," Ana whispered. "I'm in." The LA County Records Archive was a beige fortress on Temple Street where cold cases went to die. Anna requested files for 2011 convictions: assault, robbery, manslaughter. Damien waited in the lobby, scrolling his phone, looking like a CEO who'd wandered into the wrong building. The clerk, a woman named Marisol with reading glasses on a beaded chain, squinted at Anna's press credentials. "You're that reporter," Marisol said. "The one who broke the Glendale PD story last year." Anna nodded. "I need Case 14, Criminal, 2011. Marisol's expression shifted. "That's sealed pending appeal." "I know. I have authorization." Anna slid over a notarized letter from Damien's foundation. Legal letterhead, case citation. Sofia Ribeiro's sworn statement attached. Marisol read it twice. Then she looked up. "Your mother testified in that trial. She identified the defendant at the scene. Are you saying she was wrong?" Anna met her gaze. "I'm saying she thought she might have been, and I need to know for sure." Marisol hesitated. Then she stood. "Wait here." She returned 10 minutes later with a banker's box, yellowed files, evidence logs, trial transcripts. As Anna carried it to the table, a man in a gray blazer, Councilman Victor Ortiz, Anna recognized him from City Hall press conferences, appeared beside Damien. "Mr. Cross," Victor said, voice smooth as glass. "Funny seeing you here. Slumming with the archives?" Damien stood, extended a hand. "Councilman, just helping a journalist do her job." Victor's smile didn't reach his eyes. He tapped his fountain pen, gold engraved against his palm. Once, twice. "Careful which cases you dig up. Some graves are better left undisturbed." He walked away. Anna watched him go, pulse ticking. Damien turned to her. "Friend of yours?" "No," Anna said. "But I know his type. He's the kind who shows up when you're close to something." She opened the box. Case 14 wasn't about robbery. It was about murder. The defense attorney from Case 14, Lillian Park, now retired, lived in a Pasadena bungalow with climbing roses and a doorbell that played Beethoven. Anna called ahead. Lillian agreed to meet. Damien drove. Anna noticed his car, a 10-year-old Volvo, not a Tesla or a Bentley. "You don't drive like a billionaire," she said. He smiled barely. "I don't like attention." Lillian greeted them on the porch with iced tea and skepticism. "Your mother was the prosecution's star witness," Lillian said. "She placed my client, Marcus Tully, at the scene at 11:47 p.m. on July 16, 2011. She said she saw him through the ER bay doors, arguing with the victim, Derek Cole. Marcus had no alibi. He was convicted of second-degree murder. He served 14 years. Anna set down her glass. "My mother left a note saying she made an error. Do you know what kind?" Lillian's jaw tightened. "Timing. Sofia testified she finished her shift at 11:30 p.m. and walked to her car. She saw Marcus and Derek in the parking lot at 11:47. But Marcus's public defender, overworked, underpaid, never checked the hospital's time clock system. If Sofia was still on shift past 11:30, her timeline doesn't work. The murder happened at 11:50, according to the coroner. If Sofia wasn't in the parking lot at 11:47, she couldn't have seen Marcus there." Anna's stomach dropped. "Did you appeal?" "Twice. Denied. We needed proof Sofia's shift ran late. We never found it." Damien leaned forward. "What about a shift log?" Lillian blinked. "Cedars-Sinai keeps digital time clocks. But after 10 years, unless someone archived it, my foundation archives hospital compliance data for malpractice insurance." Damien said quietly, "I can request a copy under HIPAA-compliant protocols. If Sofia's time clock record exists, we'll find it." Lillian stared. Then she laughed, sharp and bitter. "You might actually pull this off." As they left, Anna noticed a car idling across the street, a black sedan, tinted windows. When Damien pulled away, the sedan followed for 3 blocks, then turned off. Anna said nothing, but her hand drifted to her mother's note, folded in her jacket pocket. The archived shift log arrived via encrypted file transfer, Cedars-Sinai employee time clock system, July 16, 2011. Anna opened it in her apartment at 2 a.m. Damien sitting across from her with coffee, neither of them drank. The entry was clear. Ribeiro, Sofia. Clock out 23:58:03, 11:58:03 p.m. Dept. Air. Badge. 4821. Sofia hadn't left at 11:30. She'd left at 11:58, 8 minutes after the murder. She couldn't have seen Marcus in the parking lot at 11:47. She'd still been inside. Anna's hands shook. She was wrong. She remembered wrong. And an innocent man went to prison. Damien didn't speak. Then his phone buzzed. A text. Sender unknown. Drop the case or your editor gets a different story about you and Cross. Anna read it over his shoulder. Her blood went cold. Who sent that? I don't know, but someone's watching. Anna stood, paced. Victor Ortiz, the councilman. He was at the archive. He knew we were digging. Damien frowned. Why would a city councilman care about a 14-year-old murder case? Anna pulled up Victor's bio on her laptop. He was deputy DA in 2011. He prosecuted case 14. If Marcus Tully gets exonerated, Victor's conviction record gets a black mark, and he's running for mayor next year. She zoomed in on a photo from the trial. Victor at the prosecution table, tapping his gold fountain pen against the podium. The same pen he'd carried at the archive. Anna's pulse spiked. He's the one who pushed for Sofia's testimony. He built the timeline. If we prove it's false, he goes down with it. Damien set down his coffee. Then we need more than a time clock. We need a witness who saw Sofia inside the hospital at 11:47, and we need it documented. Anna closed her eyes, thinking. Then she remembered. Her mother's disposable camera. Sofia had loved those cheap film cameras. Said they captured truth digital couldn't fake. Anna had kept one roll, never developed, in a shoebox under her bed. I'll be right back, she said. The shoebox was wedged behind Anna's winter boots, dusty and forgotten. Inside lay 3 rolls of Fujifilm 200. The cheap stuff expired in 2008. Her mother had photographed everything that summer. Anna's graduation, the ER staff party, the hospital courtyard at sunset. One roll was labeled in Sofia's handwriting. July 16th, night shift, memories. Anna's hands trembled as she held it up to the light. 39 exposures, never developed. Why? She whispered to the empty room. Then she understood. Her mother hadn't wanted to see these photographs. Looking at them meant reliving the night she misidentified Marcus Tully. It meant admitting her memory had deceived her. It meant guilt. Anna sat on her bed and cried. Not delicate tears, but the kind that came from a place she'd sealed off years ago. When Damien found her there, she was holding the film canister like it was made of glass. We need to develop this, Anna said, but if the photos don't show what we need, if they're just pictures of the break room or the parking lot entrance, then we have nothing but a time clock. Nothing a jury will forgive. Damien sat beside her without touching her. Then we'll have nothing, he said quietly. But at least you'll know you tried. Anna looked at him, really looked. Beneath the tailored suit and the careful words was a man who'd spent 13 years keeping a secret about her mother, waiting for the moment to tell her the truth. Why? She asked. Why carry this? Damien's jaw tightened. Because Sofia made me promise. She said, if anything ever happens to me, make sure Anna knows she came from someone with courage. Even when I was wrong, I wanted to be right. I've kept that promise. Anna reached into her pocket and pulled out her mother's note, the edges worn soft from handling. She left this for me 8 years ago, and I never saw it until 3 days ago. What if I'm not like her? What if I don't have that courage? Damien took the note gently, read it, and handed it back. You're here, aren't you? They drove to a forensic photography lab in Santa Monica, the kind that worked cold cases and insurance claims, run by a woman named Dr. Chen, who asked no questions and dated everything with scientific precision. The film would take 48 hours to develop and scan. Anna had 48 hours to decide whether she was ready for whatever truth the photographs held. The scans arrived via secure link. 39 JPEG files, each tagged with EXIF metadata, camera model, ISO, focal length, and crucially, timestamp. Anna opened them in sequence, her breath tight. Photos 1 through 12. The break room, nurses' lockers, a vending machine. Unremarkable. Then photo 13, the ER bay seen through the interior glass doors. Sophia was visible in the lower corner, still in her scrubs, still in the hospital, and the timestamp read 2011 07 16 23 47 33 UTC 07 00 11:47 p.m. inside. Anna's hands went numb. She scrolled to 14, the same bay, different angle. Sophia was now closer to the medication cart. Timestamp 2011 07 16 23 49 217 UTC 07 00. Still inside. Still in the ER. Photographs 15 through 39 progressed chronologically. Sophia moving through the hospital, clocking out, walking to her car in the parking lot at 11:58. The last exposure showed the night sky. Timestamp 2011 07 16 23 59 44 UTC 070, just before midnight. 1 minute after Sophia had officially clocked out. Anna called Damien. "It's here," she said. All of it. She was inside the entire time. She never saw Marcus in the parking lot because she was still working. "Send me the files," Damien said. "I need to validate the XIF chain." 2 hours later, he arrived at her apartment with a forensic analyst named Raymond, a quiet man with wire-rimmed glasses who worked for an independent auditing firm. Raymond set up a laptop and ran a verification protocol, checking the EXIF metadata against Fujifilm's proprietary encryption, validating the timestamp sequence, confirming the geolocation data embedded in the camera's GPS chip. "The photographs are authentic," Raymond said. "No editing, no manipulation." The camera recorded these images in real time on July 16, 2011, between 23:47 and 23:59. And the GPS data places every photo within a 300-foot radius of Cedars-Sinai's ER entrance. Anna felt something shift inside her, the weight of doubt beginning to lift. But she also felt afraid. This proves my mother was wrong. But does it prove Marcus Tully was innocent? Damien met her eyes. It proves he wasn't in the parking lot at 11:47 p.m. when the prosecution's star witness said she saw him. That's the beginning of reasonable doubt. Anna reached for her mother's note. She'd been carrying it for 3 days now, the paper growing soft in her pocket. She pressed it against her chest. "Okay," she whispered. "Now we need a witness who remembers that night. We need someone to say Sophia was still inside at 11:47. The night shift ER roster from July 16, 2011, listed 7 nurses and 4 orderlies. 6 had moved away or retired. 1 remained, Marcus Chen, now a charge nurse at UCLA Medical, who'd worked alongside Sophia that evening. Anna called him cold. He remembered nothing. "That was 13 years ago," Marcus said over the phone. "I don't even remember Sophia, and she must have been..." He trailed off. "Wait, Sophia Ribeiro? The one who testified in that murder trial?" "Yes," Anna said carefully. "Do you remember that night?" Marcus went quiet. Then, "I remember because it was the only time Sophia was late clocking out. She usually left at 11:30, but that night, July 16th, she stayed past midnight because we had an MVA come in at 11:45. Multiple vehicle accident, bad. 3 patients. Sophia triaged the first one, ran her through the trauma sequence. She didn't leave until everyone was stable." Anna's pulse spiked. "You're sure? You're certain about the time?" "I'm sure because I had to call her back from the parking lot to help with the second patient's intake. She was already in her car, keys out, scrubs off, civilian clothes on. But the unit secretary radioed that we needed her. She came back." Anna closed her eyes. "Can you meet with me? I'm a journalist and I need to document your statement formally." Marcus agreed cautiously. They met at a coffee shop in Westwood, Marcus in scrubs on his break, with his hospital ID clipped to his pocket. Anna had brought a voice recorder and a witness statement form. As Marcus recounted the evening, she captured every detail. The MVA dispatch time, 23:42, logged in the ER computer system. Sophia's name on the trauma note, The timestamp: Cedars Sinai ER Trauma Log 2011-07-16, Incident ER 8847, Physician Dr. Okafor, Intake, Nurse S. Ribeiro, Time 23:45-22. Marcus signed the statement. Then he looked at Anna and said, "Whatever Sophia's testimony did, I hope this helps undo it." But as Anna left the cafe, her phone buzzed. An email from her editor, David Park, subject line, "Meeting Staff Conduct Review, today 10 a.m." The timestamp was 09:47 a.m. The meeting was 13 minutes away. Anna opened her calendar and saw it was already blocked off. She hadn't scheduled it. She called David. "There's no conduct issue," David said, voice tight. "Someone filed a complaint. They said you've been withholding information from your editor, accessing sealed court files without authorization, and collaborating with sources in a way that compromises journalistic independence." Anna's stomach dropped. "Who filed it?" "They're anonymous," David said, "but it came through the LA District Attorney's office. Looks official." Anna sat in her car, hands gripping the wheel. Damien's words echoed. "If you pursue it, you'll face scrutiny." She thought about the safe word, full stop, and for a moment she almost said it, almost walked away. But then she thought of Marcus Tully, in prison for 14 years for a crime he didn't commit. And she thought of her mother, dead 8 years, carrying guilt for something that was only half her fault. "I'm going to the meeting," Anna said into the phone, "and I'm bringing a lawyer." The conduct review took place in a conference room on the Observer's 14th floor. David sat across from Anna with Margot, the legal counsel. Across the table were two people Anna didn't recognize, a woman in a navy blazer introducing herself as Investigator Torres from the DA's office, and a man with a digital recorder wearing a badge. Detective James Viller, Special Investigations. They played the email complaint aloud. It contained 3 allegations. Anna had accessed sealed criminal records without proper authorization. She'd formed a bias-motivated relationship with a source, Damien Cross, that compromised her reporting. She'd withheld information about her investigation from her employer, violating the Observer's ethics protocol. Torres slid a printed version across the table. "If these claims are substantiated," Torres said, "your publication faces a liability claim. We'd recommend retracting any stories filed under Ms. Ribeiro's byline while she was conducting this unauthorized investigation." Margot interrupted. "My client is conducting legitimate journalism on a matter of public interest, a potential wrongful conviction. She has every right to investigate." "She has the right to investigate," Villar said. "She doesn't have the right to break chain of custody on evidence." The time clock record she obtained, the photographs, they're now inadmissible in any proceeding because they weren't collected under proper protocol. Anna's hands went cold. Everything they'd found, every lead, every proof, was potentially tainted. "We obtained the photographs from Ms. Ribeiro's private possession," Damien's lawyer interjected. He'd contacted legal counsel the moment Anna called. "They were developed under forensic analysis with a certified expert. Chain of custody is documented." "After the fact," Villar said. "Without a warrant, without authorization from the court, without following proper evidence protocols. In any courtroom, they're fruit of the poisoned tree." The meeting ended without resolution. Torres and Villar left. Margot shook her head. "They're trying to intimidate you into dropping the story. It's a tactic. But they're not entirely wrong. We need to be careful about how we proceed." David looked at Anna with a mixture of concern and something else. Disappointment, maybe. "If you're going to continue," he said, "you do it on your own time. The Observer can't be complicit in anything that compromises the integrity of the investigation. You're on voluntary leave pending review." Anna walked out of the office at 2 p.m. Reporters stared as she packed her desk. By 3 p.m., her badge access had been revoked. By 4 p.m., someone had posted on social media, anonymous account, that the LA Observer's star crime reporter was under investigation for journalistic misconduct. By 5 p.m., 3 of her sources from previous cases had declined to comment on future projects. Anna sat in her apartment as the sun set over the city, her mother's note in her lap, and asked herself the question she couldn't answer. What if I've destroyed everything for nothing? The next morning, Anna's phone rang. It was Lillian Park, the defense attorney. "Marcus Tully wants to meet you," Lillian said, "and he wants to bring someone." They convened in a private visitation room at Corcoran State Prison. Marcus, gaunt from 14 years inside, with eyes that held a kind of quiet devastation. Lillian, Damien, and an attorney from the Innocence Project named Dr. Samuel Okonkwo, who specialized in wrongful conviction appeals. Anna brought the photographs, the shift log, and Marcus Chen's statement. She laid them out in sequence. Dr. Okonkwo reviewed each piece methodically. "The photographs establish alibi at the critical moment," he said. "The shift log corroborates. The witness statement corroborates. But we need one more element. We need the trial prosecutor to acknowledge the flaw in his original case." Anna's stomach tightened. "Victor Ortiz." "That's not going to happen," she said. Dr. Okonkwo smiled sadly. "Not voluntarily, but the law will require it once we file for appeal based on Brady material. Evidence the prosecution withheld or misrepresented." He turned to Marcus. "We file Monday. We request expedited review. Given the photographic evidence and the corroborating witness, I'd estimate 18 months to a hearing, possibly less." Marcus reached across the table and took Anna's hand. "Your mother," he said. "She thought she saw me. She was in the hospital with patients, trauma, chaos. She made a mistake, but she had courage enough to question it. You have her courage." Anna felt tears slide down her cheeks. "She carried the guilt for 13 years, Anna said. "She wrote me a note telling me to fix it, and I'm going to." Damien set a file on the table, a police report dated that morning. "I hired a private investigator," he said. "Victor Ortiz has been under investigation for misconduct related to Case 14 for the past 6 months. Anonymous tipster. The DA's office has evidence that Ortiz knew Sophia's testimony was problematic. Her supervisor flagged the timing discrepancy on July 17, 2011, the day after the murder, and Ortiz buried it. The supervisor's memo is in the file." Anna opened it. The memo was dated July 17, 2011, signed by Hospital Administrator Richard Huang. Internal memo. Confidential. Deputy DA Victor Ortiz requested timeline verification for witness Sofia Ribeiro's testimony in State v. Tully. Our records indicate Ms. Ribeiro's shift ended at 23:58, not 23:30 as she testified. I informed Mr. Ortiz. He indicated this was a minor discrepancy and requested no further action. Investigation closed. A minor discrepancy. 14 years in prison for a minor discrepancy. That's conspiracy, Lillian breathed. Buried exculpatory evidence, Brady violation. That's felony misconduct. Dr. Okonkwo began making notes. We file this with the appeal motion. We also file a complaint with the state bar. Ortiz will face disbarment proceedings at minimum. He looked at Anna. You did this, you and your mother. The press conference happened on the courthouse steps, Department 42, LA Superior Court. Dr. Okonkwo stood at the podium with Marcus Tully beside him, exonerated on May 14, 2025, based on photographic evidence and withheld exculpatory material. The media crowded the plaza. Anna watched from the side, recording everything, her phone on voice memo. When Dr. Okonkwo finished, Marcus took the podium. I spent 14 years for a crime I didn't commit, he said. For 14 years I told myself the system would eventually see the truth. It didn't. Not until a journalist trusted her mother's final wish and dug into sealed records. He paused. Sofia Ribeiro was wrong, and it took her daughter's courage to prove it. 2 hours later, the LA District Attorney's Office issued a statement. Victor Ortiz had been placed on administrative leave pending investigation into Brady violation claims related to State v. Tully. The Attorney General's office had initiated a parallel misconduct inquiry. Ortiz's name would be forwarded to the State Bar Association for disbarment review. His gold fountain pen, the one he'd clicked obsessively at the archive, appeared in a CCTV still from the DA's office hallway, photographed the morning after Sofia testified. It had been used to mark the memo from Hospital Administrator Huang as reviewed prosecutorial discretion, no action required. the only documentation that Ortiz had seen the timing issue and chosen to ignore it. Chain of custody on that pen was logged under Evidence Log Demisk 2011-47, Item 7, Recovered, 2025-0514. Custodian, Detective James Viller, Submission Form, SF-273. Anna's editor, David Park, called that evening. "Come back," he said. "Story of the decade. Byline's yours," but Anna declined. Not permanently, temporarily. She had one more thing to do first. She returned to her apartment and pulled out her mother's note. Sophia's handwriting, careful and deliberate. Sometimes the truth lives in the smallest places. Anna pressed the note against her chest, closed her eyes and whispered, "I found it, Mom. I found it." 3 months later, Anna sat at a small table in a bookstore in Los Feliz, signing copies of Case 14, How One Wrong Testimony Unraveled a System. The book had been on the New York Times bestseller list for 6 weeks. Marcus Tully was in the back row, free and quiet, his daughter beside him. Lillian Park was there too, and Damien stood near the window watching but not interfering, the way he always did, present without demanding presence. After the event, Anna walked to the coffee bar where Damien waited with 2 cups already prepared. Black for him, oat milk latte for her. They sat by the window, the Los Angeles evening spreading out before them, the city still bent toward its small corruptions, its small redemptions. "What now?" Damien asked. Anna pulled out a small envelope. Inside was a photograph, the last one on her mother's undeveloped roll. The night sky at 11:59:44 p.m., the stars barely visible through the light pollution, but real nonetheless. She'd had it framed. "Now I remember," Anna said. "My mother taught me that truth doesn't live in grand gestures. It lives in timestamps, in shift logs, in the smallest details nobody thinks to examine. She was wrong about Marcus Tully, but she was right about one thing. When you're wrong, you admit it, and when you can, you fix it." She placed the framed photograph on the table between them. "And I learned something else," Anna continued. "Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's doing the thing anyway, even when you're terrified, even when everyone tells you to stop, because someone's life depends on you being brave enough to be wrong about the people you trusted." Damien picked up the photograph and looked at it. The dark sky, the invisible stars. "Your mother would be proud," he said. Anna shook her head. "She wouldn't be proud. She'd be relieved. There's a difference." She took a breath. "But I'd like to ask you something. Anything. Why did you choose to carry this alone for 13 years? Why not go to the authorities? Why not just tell me what you knew?" Damien set the photograph down carefully. "Because your mother asked me not to. She said that when the time came, you'd know what to do. She had faith in you before you had faith in yourself." He paused. "And she was right." Anna felt something settle inside her. Not quite peace, but something close. Justice isn't the same as closure, but it was a beginning, an acknowledgement that some wrongs could be righted even if they couldn't be undone. Even if 14 years couldn't be returned to Marcus Tully, they could be spent differently now. Free. "What would you have done?" Damien asked quietly. "If the evidence hadn't held up? If we'd found nothing?" Anna thought of her mother, alone in her apartment, carrying the weight of a mistake for 8 years. She thought of Marcus Tully, describing the day shift prisoners in Corcoran, the ones who never made it out. "I would have kept looking," Anna said, "because truth has a way of hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone stubborn enough to see it." She reached into her jacket pocket and pulled out her mother's original note. The hospital stationery, the handwriting, the 5 words that had started everything. "I was wrong. Fix it." "That's what limits look like," Anna said. "That's what dignity looks like. That's what happens when someone finally admits the truth." She looked at Damien directly. "And that's what I'd tell anyone watching. If you're sitting beside someone who's done something wrong, your choice isn't to ignore it or abandon them. Your choice is to help them do better. Help them tell the truth. Help them fix it." She paused, then asked the question that had haunted her since the beginning. What would you have done?